Yep. What's up, guys? So here we are. We're going to do our first our first upgrade to my Wizard, Eachine Wizard X220. I'm going to flash the newest version of Betaflight to my Wizard, which is 3.1.7, and you'll see right here, make sure you choose the correct flight controller, which is the SP Racing F3 and 3.1.7. I'm going to leave these configurations just like they are, and we'll give it a go. First thing you got to do is load the firmware from the internet onto your Betaflight app there. Next thing you got to do, guys, is you have to manually grab a safety pin or a paper clip right here, which I have jammed in the bootloader pads. So basically there's two holes right here, and next to it you'll see the word boot. You have to do this on this particular flight controller to put it, basically force it into bootloader mode. So that's how you do that. Always take your propellers off, guys, anytime you hook to a PC, anytime you're going to have it indoors and you're going to be working with it. Can't stress enough, safety, safety, safety. Alright, so now we've got our USB plugged into our computer, and now we're going to plug the micro USB into the flight controller. And if it is in bootloader mode, you should only get a blue LED to come on. Only blue. So let's make sure we are in bootloader mode, and we are. So we just have the solid blue LED light there letting us know we are in bootloader mode, and we are ready to flash the flight controller. So in order to flash it, all you have to do is press flash firmware. And wow, look, wow, it's actually working on the first time. I'm shocked. I've seen numerous videos out here, guys, where people have to try 2, 3, 4 times and mess with the different buttons and configurations in order to get to flash. So this is great. Having a good night so far. So we're going to wait for this to completely flash the flight controller to the newest version of Betaflight, 3.1.7, and should make some kind of a tone. Let's see and listen, and maybe see a different LED flash. Okay, there we are. We can see it's flashing red, letting us know that the programming was successful. So there it is, guys. We have flashed the flight controller with the newest version of Betaflight. So that's step 1 complete. Now that that's done, we're going to have to do the, I'm going to call it the Joshua Bardwell configuration. And I will show you how we are going to do that coming up here. So if we go all the way down to the bottom, let's make sure that it actually worked. Go all the way down to the bottom and type in right here, show version. Whoop, didn't spell it right. Show version. It should show us what version is on the flight controller currently. Maybe it's just version. Don't worry about show. Just type in version. There we go. SP Racing 3.1.7, guys. So it successfully worked, and that was pretty painless. So the second thing I wanted to do, guys, was I wanted to go ahead and set up my modes. Okay. So right here you'll see that this switch right here, which is my auxiliary 2, which is also switch A. Okay, so if you watch switch A, Now when I turn this switch down, you'll see that tick mark moved over. See that? So now my motors are now armed with that switch, and I can kill them. Same thing with that switch. So switch A, which is auxiliary 2, is now going to arm and disarm the motors. That was my first configuration there. Now my second configuration on the controller is going to be with a three-way switch, which is switch C. So switch C is a three-way switch, okay? So with this all the way in the up position, you can see that the tick mark moved to angle mode, okay? So when the switch is in the up position, which is position 1, which it has to be on, all the switches have to be in the number 1 position to even start the transmitter. So when I turn the transmitter on, it's automatically going to be in angle mode, okay, which is the easiest flight mode to fly in. Now, when I put the switch in the number 2 position, you can see that now it is no longer in angle mode, it is now in horizon mode. So, position 1 angle, position 2 horizon. Okay? Now, this is what I did, and we're going to see how it works. We're going to do a flight test. But we now have 2 different new modes basically in Betaflight. We have air mode and we have the anti-gravity mode. So watch what happens when I turn this switch here down in position 3. Oh, so now position 3 we're gonna have air mode and anti-gravity mode at the same time. So we're gonna check that out and see exactly how this thing handles that. But should be interesting, that's for sure. So like I said before, guys, if you haven't looked him up already, check him out. Joshua Bardwell. He's on YouTube. He's got a lot of useful information. He's awesome. He explains things really easily. I went ahead and did his configuration that he talks about for my Betaflight, which basically we're going to leave the ESC at the one-shot 125s. Motor stop we're going to have off. And you can see here, there's my minimum throttle values, my maximum throttle values, and all those are all what he had on his configuration. Same thing down here, guys. After I flashed the newest version of Betaflight, you have to type in right here 270 degrees for your yaw. Okay? If you don't, for some odd reason, I don't know why, but the flight controller thinks that the quadcopter is backwards, and it's not good. So yeah, I went ahead and changed that. So just typed in 270, click save and reboot, and then it works perfect. Okay, not sure why this was turned on automatically, but I don't have VBAT hooked up, so really I should probably just turn that off. Yeah, I don't have anything on board for any kind of VBAT monitoring. So we're going to hit save and reboot. Alright, so that went ahead and saved that. Now let's look down some of these other configurations from Joshua Bardwell. So the gyro update frequency, he said to go ahead and put that on 4, which is the fastest that the flight controller can handle, supposedly. And then the PID loop, he said also want to put that at 2. You see now my CP load is right around anywhere from 16 to 18%, which is okay. Scroll on down here. We're going to leave black box on. I'm going to leave air mode turned off here because I have it set up to my switches. Okay, that way if I want to land in horizon mode, I can. Scroll on down and you can see everything else is turned off. That takes care of that in the configuration. And we go to the fail-safes. You can see right here, this is all standard settings. I changed this to his setting as well, which is a half a second for signal being lost versus 1 whole second. And obviously you can see that if my controller loses contact with the drone, it's going to drop out of the sky. It is not going to try to perform a auto land, which supposedly does not work very well at all. And you can see here, it kind of gives you a summary of what my auxiliary 1 channels are going to be controlling, and as well as my auxiliary 2 channels. Over in the PIDs, I did a little bit of tweaking, not much. Right here on my RC rate, I actually bumped that up from 1.0 to 1.25 to give it a little bit more faster in the flips and stuff like that, for the rolls. And yaw, we put that at 1.15, and that's it for the PID tuning, guys. Didn't really touch anything else on that. We're just gonna leave that be. You know, Joshua even says himself, you know, you don't really need to mess with that until, you know, you're really an advanced flyer. These rates will be fine. So next we'll go into the receiver, and I've got all these set to 1500 for the center of all my sticks, or 1500. You can see I have my switch turned on right here, so let me turn that off, and you can see it's down right around 1000. Throttle all the way up is at 2000, just about, all the way down to 1000. Same thing with my yaw, almost down to 1000, 1500 in the middle, and close to 2000 on the end. So if you want to change these values, guys, the best way to do it, honestly, is there's these, for the Fly Sky transmitter, there's these little trim buttons on here, and you can adjust those to get all of your values right around 1500. Okay, so as you can see, my yaw is at 1501. So if I push the button, boom, I just pushed that button, and now we're at 1500, which is where we need to be. We need all of the center channels to be at 1500. Okay, and you can see my throttle right in the middle is going to be right around 1500. You can see that right there. Auxiliary 1 and auxiliary 2 go to almost 2000 when you click those. Same thing for my 3-way, goes to 1500 for midway, and 2000 for all the way down. So that's all working great, no problems there. Let's take a look at, I showed you this already for my settings. Adjustments, I didn't do anything with that. Servos, nothing to do with that. Motors, I did go ahead and calibrate all my ESCs, and it's really quite easy, guys. All you have to do is unplug the battery from the drone, okay? Click this little I understand the risks, the propellers are removed, which always remove your propellers, guys, when you're hooking to Betaflight. Never have your propellers hooked up when you are hooked to a computer. You never know if you could have something go wrong. And anyway, once you go ahead and click that understand button, you can go ahead and raise this master all the way up to the top. Plug in your battery. It will give you the ESCs, and the flight control will give you a bunch of beeps. And then once you're done with that, you will lower the master button all the way back down. You'll get another set of beeps, and you're done. It's really quite simple. It took me like maybe 7 seconds, and all the ESCs are calibrated now with the new values that I had set. So easy enough. Transponder, don't have to worry about that. Sensors, don't have to worry about that. Really don't have to worry about any of this stuff right here. Don't have to worry about that either. I did, and if you watch his video, he'll tell you there's a little bit of lag in the bottom of the throttle. You have to type in a certain value in here, and I'll leave a link down to his video. That way, you know, if you guys need a more detailed explanation on how I did my config, the Joshua Bardwell config, you know, you can see that. But basically down here at the bottom, you can type in different commands. Like if you want to know what version we're running, you just type in version and hit enter. It's going to tell you right there, guys, 3.1.7, which is the newest version of Betaflight. So that's what's on there. And also you can also do other commands that will basically get rid of the bottom dead spot in the throttle. So there's a way you can do that as well. But I'll leave the link down in the description for his video. But this is basically my first steps, guys, into configuring and flashing the newest version of Betaflight onto my Wizard X220. So this thing is going to be like a beast now. It's going to be 10 times better than it was from the factory. And stay tuned, because I'm going to have even more upgrades coming. We're going to break them down, you know, upgrade 1, upgrade 2. So this is basically going to be upgrade 1. This is the firmware update. This is the Joshua Bardwell config, and we set up all our switches and everything. And if you don't understand how to set up switches on your transmitter, I did do another video, which I'll link down below as well, on how to set up your switches in your actual transmitter, and then that way you can set them up on Betaflight. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. We'll have more good videos coming. E-Drone out.